Conversation with my friend Margot and Gwen. Joe Joseph.
In a world where corrupt oppressors and oligarchs have seized control of the populations, total tyranny is amongst us. The burden of humanity rests on our shoulders. The only way out is to expose the global crime syndicate known as the New World Order. Together, we are all one. Together, we are Intel soldiers. The battle for free humanity ensues. Join us in the fight. TheIntelHub.com.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and family. Now this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years, but the crazy part is he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties, a few years ago. In fact, Baronis called his work a dire prophecy. Now, this has nothing to do with the stock market, but it could have a huge impact on almost every aspect of your life. And recently, he created a video which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica8.com. Although this video may be offensive to some audiences, it's worth checking out. Again, that's www.endofamerica8.com. Watch this free video at www.endofamerica8.com. You are listening to the Intel Hub News Network, crushing the New World Order piece by piece. Secure your future. Get your non-hybrid seed pack now. With the looming economic crisis, food shortages, and other toxic disasters, now is the time to be ready. Just click on the Heirloom Organics banner at the top of our Blog Talk Radio page today. Secure your future and the future of your family in hard times. Heirloom Organic Seeds.
Join me, Joe Joseph, John King, and A.C. Griffith, Thursdays and Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern for Freedomlink Radio on the Intel Hub News Network. We're back. We've got Gwen and Margot joining us this evening, and boy, oh boy, I mean, what a conversation we're having. I always love this kind of stuff. It's funny, Griff, you know, you said it best. We don't plan anything when it comes to doing this show. It's all kind of off the cuff, and like I was telling my wife during the break, I said it's amazing some of the conversations that we actually get into. I mean, I really do enjoy it, and I thank you guys, Gwen and Margot, for coming on tonight and helping us out. The number to call, 646-727-3387. Toll free is 877-598-8549. Gwen, you were about to say something, and I hope you didn't forget what you were going to say.
I didn't. I think when our country started going to hell in a handbasket was when the family farms who supported several generations of one family started breaking down, and they weren't able to support themselves on the farm in that family environment. And then they started moving into the cities to get work. And the family unit the extended family started breaking apart. So you didn't have that support system of the family, for one thing. Then Gloria Steinem came out, and, I think she was a CIA plant, burn your bras, act like men. I think that whole burning your bras thing was probably the worst damn thing that ever happened in this country. For the and not that I think, I think if Margot's an attorney, by God, she should be paid as much as a male attorney. I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is that when we start advocating for lesbianism and burning your bra and free love and all that, and advocating those things that are morally despicable and morally objectionable to where we want to go, and then we continue with that for generations. What in the heck, it's the moral decay of our country. And then we got leaders that I'm certain probably had moral bypasses at birth.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's go to the phones. I got Lee in Kentucky. Lee, you're live on the show. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. How are you doing?
Very, very good.
Hey, I just want to make one comment, and then I want to get in on this conversation. We were talking earlier about, the preparations and knowing how to do things that, forgotten tasks and things that we used to do.
Sure.
And my dad had always told me, so it's not important to know all the answers, just know where to find them. And one of the things that I would recommend is print off, go to the library, get on the computer, print off the how-to things on how to do things like canning and curing meat and those type of things, and build yourself a reference library that you can take with you and you can use when the time comes. Study up on it a little bit, make a hobby out of it, and just begin to do those things now. I'm not saying you have to be proficient at it, but just to have some basic idea on how to do some of these things will be beneficial when that time comes.
One of the most valuable books that I have, Lee, is something that I got in the Navy called Hand Tools and Their Uses, because it actually breaks down, goes back like how do you woodwork without any of the machinery, and what tools do you need and all that. It's very, very interesting book, and you're absolutely right. It kind of gives you a framework to go by, and you can't know everything, and so you're absolutely right.
It'll overwhelm you, but if you can just cover, if you've got 5 basics of your food, clothing, shelter, water, first aid, and a way to defend yourself, if you'll cover those 5 elements and you will get information to support you in those 5 key categories or 6, then you'll give yourself at least a chance. And having a chance is a whole lot better than sitting there empty-handed with nothing. But on the topic that we're discussing, this one really hits home with me because my wife and I, we've discussed this a lot. Went to the mall the other day. She goes into some of these stores, and I sit out there with the old men, on the bench and watch these guys walk by. Men have become so feminized. I would sit and shake my head and watch these guys with their little short pants and their little booty socks walking behind them with the wife, carrying the bags, and with their skin creams and their little bags, and it's like men have become so feminized.
That's right.
And then they're told, well, we want men to be. No, they don't. They don't want men to be sensitive. We don't need to be caring and understanding and compassionate are attributes that God commanded us to have as husbands. But we're supposed to be the provider and the protector. We're not supposed to sit and cry with them and hold their hands and carry on and have wine sessions. But it's ridiculous. Even just like when I was in the Army, it used to aggravate me. Women say, well, we can do anything a man can do. To some degree, yes. But biologically and physically, it's impossible. It is impossible. And just vice versa. I can't give birth to a child. And thank goodness and men that we didn't, because I probably wouldn't be here. But what my point that I'm making is, I'm all about equal pay. But I'm about equal pay for equal work. And I know when I was in the Army, the men's PT test was twice as tough as the women's PT test, but yet both E1s, E2s, E3, male or female, got paid the same. So I have a little bit of an issue with those things because I don't feel myself that women need to be carrying weapons in the military defending what we're supposed to be doing. What is part of our makeup is what we were created to do, is protect the women and the children. And earlier one of the ladies had made a comment about, the men, the world may be different if it wasn't run by men. It's not men. It's evil people, both men and women, that have a globalist agenda that have done what they've done to us. So it's not just men. You have Janet Napolitano. Well, I can't pronounce her name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Napolitano.
Exactly. Hillary Clinton. There's another example. So it's not just men. There are women in leadership positions who are just as evil and just as corrupt that have brought us to the point that we're at today. So we can't just say, well, it's all men's fault. And men have all wars, because I assure you, there are ladies in power today that have just as much say about having troops over in Afghanistan and Iraq as any man does.
Ladies, sound off on and tell me what you think about what Lee said.
I agree with Lee. I do, and I'm not entirely sure that Hillary Clinton or Big Sis are actually women, but that could be debated.
I think that's debatable myself.
But I wonder on a philosophical level what it is that back in the 60s made, or whenever it was, that made women so dissatisfied with their biological role in nature. What made us want to rebel against nature when we're the very embodiment of nature? You know what I mean? And so, the longer I think about it and meditate on it, I sit there and I actually do have a great bit of regret about some of the choices I've made in life, especially with regards to my career, which I have absolutely hardly any respect left for, to be honest with you.
That's rough.
And so, I think the only thing that gives me comfort anymore is that I'm able to help people out that really need it. I feel like a Sherpa through the system anymore is what I feel like. And it's hard for me to sit there and try to explain to people why they're being screwed over and why I'm powerless to help them out. I mean, that makes it tough. But at the end of the day, you have to sit there and wonder what it is about women that we demanded that men become more like us and that we become more like them. I mean, it really doesn't make sense. And what really confuses me is the American mentality that we have to honor and respect diversity, while at the same time we try to get rid of it. We try to get rid of it by forcing men and women to do the same exact jobs and not honoring the diversity between the genders, and we sit there and we totally want to obliterate any differentness between people while at the same time honoring diversity. I mean, it's just a total conundrum, and that makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
That's right. It's kind of in math. It's impossible for one to equal two. Yet that's what we're trying to do with the genders, is trying to make them equal, and it doesn't work that way, in nature and everything else. We each have our own set of things that we can do and that we can't do, and to try and make us equal is wrong. It's impossible. Go ahead, Lee. I know you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was going to touch on something, and I'm going to contradict myself here a little bit, and I will blame men for one thing. And what she touched on about is honor. Honor is really the root of the problem, in my opinion. After World War II, when the industrial complex and things started really booming in the country, the man got upset. Greed took over, and he began to worry more about things than honoring his family. And so what happened is he would go, his desire was to get things, and he left his family behind